And good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's La Viviana live stream. And tonight's topic is top tips how to boost your personal brand on LinkedIn. Thank you for finding some time this evening to join our live discussion. Please make sure to introduce yourselves in the comments. Let us know what you do and join our conversation with your comments and questions. I'll put a reminder here for you. Make sure to introduce yourselves in the comments. If you're new to my live show, I'm Yana Martins and I'm video coach, and I help my clients to overcome camera phobia so they can connect with their professional community online through the power of the video. So again, tonight we are going to talk about top tips to boost your personal brand on LinkedIn. And Joseph is obviously going to share his top tips because he actually have 337,000 followers on LinkedIn. So no doubt he's an expert when it comes to putting your name out there on LinkedIn. So, and making a name for yourself can be tough and sometimes frustrating. We often can hear that people say like, oh no, I'm just not good at self-promoting. But building a personal brand actually requires some skills, patience, and consistent effort. So it's incredibly relevant topic in today's world. So please make sure you tag or share it with your friends who need to hear this information. So, and before I'll pass it on to Joseph to introduce himself, I just want to remind you that we are going live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and to watch replays, please subscribe to YouTube channel, or you can go to my website, yanamartins.com, and click on blog in the menu so you can watch the replays there as well. So I'm going live every second Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Melbourne time with various experts from my network. And we are going to answer all your questions from all the platforms. Just please stay on the topic, obviously. And please make sure you ask as many questions as you want. And most active participants might even get some nice surprise at the end of the stream. So anyway, that's enough of me. I'm just going to pass it to Joseph to introduce himself.
Thank you, Yana. It's an absolute pleasure to be invited onto your show. I've obviously, followed, the amazing discussions that you have with people from around the world in different fields and different sectors. And it's a pleasure and an honor, not just because obviously you are a LinkedIn content creator, but also because you are a Melburnian. So because I'm a Melburnian, it's always great to connect with people from down under. And the moment when you requested me to come onto your show, I was like, absolutely, that would be my honor. And I mean, thank you to each and every person who's joined in. I can see that Ilkay has joined in. So thank you, Ilkay. Great guy. It was a pleasure to be on your show, I think a couple of months ago. And Basir Ahmed as well. Thank you for joining in, and to each and every other person who's taken the time out, obviously out of their busy schedules, to come in. I mean, interestingly, and Yana, I mean, when you actually sort of requested me to come on, and you were like, what's the topic we should have a discussion on, and I said that, Yana, you suggested personal branding and the importance of it on LinkedIn, and I think that is such an important topic, especially in today's world, because we are so fast moving towards a digital economy, and it's so important for each and every person to not just build their own personal brand just face to face, but also ensure that the digital footprint that they're having is also synonymous with who they are as a person online as well. And that is so important. I mean, I think when at this present moment, due to the pandemic, the world has come to what I like to say a perpetual pause. But this is where a lot of people who have worked on their personal brand online are really reaping rich benefits and dividends, in my opinion, because that is such an important element moving forward as to how can you in a way reach out to a bigger pool of clientele. It's like I'm going to use a fishing analogy here. Right? It's like, you take your boat and you go to the canal behind your house, wherever you are, or a little river or pond or whatever. You will only have a finite amount of fish that you have access to at any given point. But with the advent of digital transformation and digital media, and especially social media, especially on LinkedIn, it's brilliant. You don't have to pay anything to be on LinkedIn. We don't have to. I mean, I'm a LinkedIn Live broadcaster as well, and so is Yana. We don't have to pay LinkedIn money to be a live broadcaster. But what this does is, like, it gives you an opportunity to get in front, face to face, with your future clients in a way that they can see, feel, touch, and hear. Now, they may not be able to obviously touch, because obviously it's through a digital medium, but that you can see my facial expressions, you can see the other person, you can see how they are talking, you can see their body language, and that makes a huge difference in a way for you to being able to connect with someone at a deeper level moving forward. So back to my fishing analogy, I would say, like, building a personal brand online. I'm not just saying just on LinkedIn, but building a personal brand online is basically taking that same boat that you have, with that same line that you're using to fish, but instead of fishing in the canal or little pond behind your house, you're actually going with the sea, where the possibilities are endless in a way, and you have access to so many further opportunities, stuff that you may not even have thought of, believed, or in any way even comprehended prior. So building a personal brand, especially at this moment, is not easy. Building anything is not easy. It's all about ensuring that you are the same person who people see online as you are offline. There has to be that similarity. Like, Yana, I mean, I'm sure you would have seen on my profile, I've got this very clear line, which is a question that I think each and every one of us need to ask ourselves. Is your online personality equal to your offline persona? Is there congruence between those two? And that is so important. The online personality and the offline persona needs to be one and the same. And as soon as there is congruence in that, people will start trusting you. And it's sales parlance.
I'm trying to find it on your profile, Joseph.
It's right on my it's on my header picture under leaders care and stuff.
Here we go. We found it.
It's in the header picture. Yeah, it's in the header picture. The last line. So the thing is, it's so important. It's so important. Like, I'm going to go into a little bit of sales parlance here. People say, people do business with people who they know, like, and trust, and that is important. You don't do business with people just because they have a product which you feel is the best for you. Because why would you do business with someone when you've got so many other opportunities? What is that determining factor why you do business with someone? Is because you know that person and you like that person, and over time you build that trust in that person, in their products or in their services, whatever be the case. And that's the importance of obviously building your personal brand, because the moment you start building a personal brand, but the moment you start basically showing who you are as a person moving forward, that's when people start understanding who the real you is, what your values are, what your mission is, what your vision is. And the only reason as to why people will then start doing business with you moving forward is if there is alignment with your views, your beliefs, and theirs. And that's where that personal branding element is so important. So great topic, Yana. I'm looking forward to questions from the audience and from you, and happy to go into all different depths of personal branding and online presence and digital footprint, etc. So fire away.
So, okay, Joseph, I just, with my shows, I would like to be like really specific, yes? So, yeah, we know the personal brand quite important. And I'm sure the people who are listening to us on LinkedIn know how important a personal brand on LinkedIn and probably already experience it themselves. But I guess a lot of people just maybe don't know where to start, yes? So where would you start? Like, can you give us a really, I don't know, specific tips? Then someone decide, okay, I wanna build a personal brand on LinkedIn. Where would they start? Like, obviously they need to start with why they're building it, but like, let's say they already know why they're building it. So what's
Yep.
the next step? What sort of question they need to ask themselves before go forward?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's a great question. Now, Yana, just to answer that question, I'm going to say I'm not going to give the cliched response that everyone gives. Be yourself. Now, what is be yourself, right? I mean, that is just integrity, and you're just basically telling someone to just be themselves. Be who they are. But how does someone be themselves when they don't have anything to compare it to? Because you asked a very important question. Someone who's just started out on social media. Now, to give you an example, and I'm going to use my own personal journey on LinkedIn as the example. So I have not been on LinkedIn for years. I've been on LinkedIn for exactly just over 2.5 years now. So I joined LinkedIn on the 5th of August, 2018. And now we are on the 31st of March, 2021. So just over 2.5 years, I've been on LinkedIn. I started with 0 followers, 0 connections, nothing. I was no one, and still am no one in my opinion. But the thing is, what I have done, and this is what and I started LinkedIn at that time because I was going through a bit of a career change process, and a lot of people had told me that okay, go on LinkedIn. There are lots of recruiters. Jobs are advertised there, etc. It's like a professional Facebook, for example. That's what a lot of people told me. It's a professional Facebook, and I was like, that's interesting. Okay, fair enough. So I signed up on LinkedIn. Just did a couple of posts because I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. I maybe had 3 views, and all 3 of them was me viewing my own post, literally. So, and no comments, no likes, nothing, right? And then following certain people online who've got amazing networks. So, for example, I would say like Bridget Hyacinth, who I've met in person. She's an amazing person. Talal Al Murad, Corey Warfield, Dino Pacella, Ahmad Imam, Oleg Vishnopolsky. All the big wigs on LinkedIn in a way. Now, I started following them. I started seeing the kind of they create and that they curate. So the first step that any person that I would give to anyone who's starting out on any social media, not just on LinkedIn, is like dive right into the platform with the best of intentions. But the first thing that you need to do is basically shadow people. Like we have this terminology in sales or in marketing teams, right? When you have a newbie come on board, you will be assigned to work with someone who has been in the game for a while. So you are basically asked to shadow that person. Why do you shadow that person? Because that person has been there, done that in a way. And they'll be able to, and by following certain things that they're doing, you'd be able to basically not have the same kind of pitfalls in a way moving forward. So definitely shadow people, see people who you'd like to connect with people who you ideally would be your good connections. Now, if you are, let's say, for example, if you're a job seeker, make sure that you're connecting with people in your country, in your industry, recruiters in the companies that you ideally like to work for. If you're an entrepreneur, you'd like to ideally connect with decision makers in target companies, in target businesses, in target countries that you ideally like to go into. And that's very, very important. So the way I started out, I mean, I would say the main thing for anyone starting out on LinkedIn is basically engage with other people, not just like a hi on as a comment on someone's post or nice post or a smiley face. No, that is insignificant. Okay, that is thoughtless. You need to put in thoughtful engagement. The reason why I say thoughtful engagement is because the moment you take a little bit of time to read the context of someone's share, whether that be a video post, whether that be a text post, whether that be a quote or an image or whatever, and read what they've written and then make your comment. It doesn't need to be a paragraph. It can be 2 lines. but you can summarize it in a way so that you convey to the person who you're commenting on that you have taken the time to appreciate the time and effort that they have put in to create that content, and that you have understood it. And that is where you will start planting the seeds of recognition for yourself. The moment you engage meaningfully with others around you is when people will start remembering you moving forward. But you can't expect to just do that once and that's it. You've got to be consistent. You have to consistently engage. So people who are starting off, engage with people who you ideally feel could be possible collaborators in the future, who could be possible clients in the future, who could be possible colleagues in the future. Engage with their content. Engage with who they are. Reach out to them, not immediately, but after maybe a week or two of engaging with their content, and reach out with like an email, or send them a connection request, but send them a personalized connection request saying, it's been really nice, seeing your content, etc., blah blah blah, and I would love to connect with you because we are both in the same industry or something. Just a very short note, but make it personalized, just so that people understand that you've made that extra effort. That extra effort is what plants the seeds of an emotional connection moving forward. We as human beings, we are emotional creatures. So before you ask, you need to give. And that is very important. So most people online is like ask, 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 ask. They are always talking about the services that they provide. I don't need to know what services you provide, right? And this is something like Yana, it's a very interesting story. So this was in 2010, back in Melbourne. I'm a 24-year-old guy at that time, and then basically someone. So I go to this networking event. I'm working for this financial services company back in Melbourne. I'm not going to name the company. And there is this group CEO that we've been trying to get a hold of for a little while. An elderly gentleman, and I meet him at this networking event, who is introduced to me by, or I'm introduced to him by a common friend. And he goes like, "This is Joseph from so-and-so company, etc." And what I do is I immediately go talk to him, and I just go into my elevator pitch, like, "Very nice meeting you, blah, 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 blah." I just blabber it out. He listens to me for 15 seconds, Jan, and this is so important. And this is a life lesson which I was given through reality, through element and a real situation that happened there. And he told me after 15 seconds, he was like, "Young man, I have heard of your company. I know what products you specialize in. But tell me one thing. How are you different from any of your competitors? Why should I choose you than anyone else?" And I just couldn't answer at that moment, because I was focusing only on what I had to offer, if that makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is, like, people who are starting out on LinkedIn for whatever reason, whether they're a job seeker, whether they are an entrepreneur, etc., don't focus on only what you can offer. Focus on creating that relationship moving forward. And when you actually do the ask for the business, they'll be more likely to say yes moving forward. And that is so important, as to why I say consistent engagement is the best way to start your digital personal branding exercise moving forward.
I guess I hear one of the advices and people give back to your advice about giving, like, the reciprocity and giving. One of the really easy, strategy you can use before you post anything. Go to your feed and engage with your few posts. Actually leave thoughtful comments and see what other people are actually posting. Actually engage before you hit this post button, because often people concentrating on like, oh, what should I post? How many times I should post? But it's both way street. So make it a habit before you actually posting something. go through your newsfeed and engage with your post, not just for the sake of engaging, but actually with the post that you enjoy. And actually,
Yep.
guys, like I know the few people has just joined us. Ravi's here and Dan is here, Jay is here. I want to ask you, who do you follow on LinkedIn and why? And you know
Mhm.
the reason I'm asking who you following because when you follow someone, you can actually think about why you actually follow them and use the same strategies. It doesn't mean that you like follow someone and just start copying their content, but you can
Mhm.
use the same strategy, the same algorithms, the same, I don't know, mood and things like this, but apply it to your content, apply it to your personal brand. And if it's a person that resonates with the values, it's a great way to start your LinkedIn journey by actually realizing why you're following other people. So guys, if you put in the comments who you following, that would be great. And actually, Joseph, who are you following on LinkedIn?
I follow you, of course. You've got great content, Yana. I do follow some amazing people. Honestly, in the last 2.5 years, I've had the opportunity to meet some truly brilliant people. I would say thought leaders in different fields, who are specialists at what they do. And I've had the privilege and honor to actually interview them and speak to them on my podcast and on the FBI show as well. And it's been great. It's been an amazing journey. I mean, yeah. So I mean, so a lot of people would be like, oh, you should only follow people who've got like over 10,000 followers or whatever. Rubbish, rubbish. I know of so many people who have less than 1,000 followers whose content is absolutely stellar content, right? The way they write, etc., is fantastic. So the people who I follow are people whose values, whose vision, which I resonate with. Those are the people who I follow. Those are the people who I connect with as well in the same way. So obviously, I can't connect with anyone and everyone at this present moment. It's a blessing, to have such an amazing network on LinkedIn. It really is a blessing. I'm truly humbled because, in the last 2.5 years, I mean, if someone asked me 2.5 years ago that, Joe, you're going to have like over 300,000 followers in like 2.5 years, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. That's are you joking? But it's just been consistency. To give you an example, Yana, like, and people have asked me, what is the secret to my growth on LinkedIn? I'm like, there is no secret apart from consistency, apart from nothing else. Meaningful engagement and consistency. And that is what is my secret sauce, if you know what I mean. What you see on LinkedIn is me. I don't have any, virtual assistants or anything. People have asked me, do you have a VA? I'm like, no, I don't. So that's why, I mean, some of my amazing friends, I took a 2-month break off LinkedIn between January and the beginning of March. 2 months I was not on LinkedIn. And this is the first time I was not on LinkedIn in the last 2.5 years. Every single day, apart from the last 2 months, I've been on LinkedIn for at least 5 to 6 hours a day at different parts of the day, but between 5 to 6 hours, engaging with other people's content, creating or curating my own content, etc. So, and that is my journey. To give you an example, so my first 10,000 followers took me about 11 months. My first 10,000 followers. My first 100,000 followers took me approximately 1.5 years. And in the next 2 years from there, or the next 1 year from there, I have doubled that. So I've gotten another 200,000. So, and the only reason that happened was because I was consistent in what I was doing, and people start resonating with you after a while, and they are like, I'm consistently there. I'm saying the same things. I'm not changing what I'm saying. I'm coming on screen like this, either through my own live or through my own video content, or through amazing people like you, Yana, when they invite me on their show. So, and what they see, and there is that congruence, throughout all the different kinds of content that I post, whether it be a video content, whether that be a quote, whether it be a motivational content, whether that be a personal video content or a curated one. And I'll go into the curated and the created one as well. And there has to be congruence in it. You can't just be like, all over the place. Like if your values are integrity, honesty, doing the right thing by people, that should be highlighted in a way in everything that you do. Now, integrity to me is the most important human value that anyone can have. And as soon as you have that, people will want to do business with you. And especially because, I come from a sales and a marketing background. And obviously, we are salesmen and marketers are obviously looked at with like, dodgy people in a way. But, I've never had that issue because it's all about being able to connect with someone, right? And it's all about the same with any industry in a way. There are a few people in a particular industry which gives the entire industry a bad name. And that is what happened in the sales and marketing field as well. And I'm proud to be in sales and marketing. I've been in sales and marketing my entire life, even though I'm a CPA, which is a certified practicing accountant. But I've never worked as a CPA ever in my life. So I did science and computers in school. I was a CPA at university, after university rather. But I've never worked in any of those fields. But I've always worked in client-facing roles. So I'm a management consultant. I work, in strategy, negotiations, etc. But I've always liked to speak to people, like to be in front of people, like to be able to understand people. So if someone asks me, what do I do for a living? I read people. I read people, and that is important. You can only successfully help someone is if you know what they really need. The only way you can actually really know what they really need is if you actually invest time in know them. And that is where you really need to use your 2 ears and your 1 mouth in the right proportion, which is you need to just zip up and listen to them. You need to be good at active listening. And that, these are just little tips which I have done. So I mean, in the so my personal journey, as you were asking, Yana, I shadowed people. I shadowed people who had really good networks, who had great engagement. I saw what they were doing. I sort of, I would say, I did copy in certain ways. I didn't plagiarize. There's a big difference between copying and plagiarizing. The same way of creating and curating content. So a content creator is a generalized term, but a content creator can be a straight out creator with their own original content, or they can curate other people's content, giving them the necessary, references that, yep, it is their content. But what you are doing is let's say, for example, you would have seen a lot of people, post YouTube videos, for example, on LinkedIn or any other social media platform. They may not own the rights to that video, but they have given reference and whose stuff they've used. So what they've done here is they've actually curated someone else's content and added their own inputs as like the wording in the post, for example, or some additional ideas, or how they have basically unraveled the message of that post in their own way. That's where you can be a great content a great content creator by not actually doing any specific content on your own, or any specific your own content. You can curate other people's content and still be a great content creator. So and honestly, and this is another very important thing, a lot of people are scared to come on LinkedIn or on any social media because they don't want to. They're scared, or they are they don't want to be on video, or they don't want to come on and talk to people, etc. That's fine. You don't need to. You can just write content. One of my really good and close friends from Malaysia, he's a 3 times TEDx speaker. The first gig that he ever got on TEDx was not because they saw him on video, because they saw the articles that he published. So they never knew how he looked like, apart from obviously the professional photograph that he's got, or whatever. But that's what I'm trying to say. To create content, you don't just need to be in front of the camera. It's not the only way forward, and this is what puts a lot of people off, because they're just scared to be in front of camera. So just be in a situation where you're trying to get the audience to know who you are as a person, and that is the most important element. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Joseph, I just want to go back a bit to your personal story. And, like in the beginning, you've mentioned that you've been spending like 5, 6 hours on LinkedIn.
Yep. Yep.
And, there's a lot of time investment. And,
Yep.
it's obviously there's not many people can spend 5, 6 hours on LinkedIn. So
Really? Think
my
about it.
question, my,
I'll tell you. I'll
my,
tell you why I say,
no,
because
okay, okay.
many people have
My
asked me.
question, let
Yeah.
me
Go
finish
on.
my question. My
Yeah. Yeah.
question is, do you think you had official return on investment?
An
Now
official
you have over,
return on investment,
yeah,
without a
yeah. So
shadow of a
now you
doubt.
have over 300,000. So what's
It's
results?
yeah.
What's the tangible results you achieve by investing so much time into LinkedIn?
Great question. I'm gonna firstly sort of say about the 5 to 6 hours. Okay, 5 to 6 hours. It's all about ensuring that you are managing your time properly. Okay. Now I'm not doing 5 to. I work full time. So for example, I used to do my first hour or so first thing in the morning when I'm having a coffee, or instead of reading the newspaper, I go on my LinkedIn feed. One example, say between 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning. That's my first hour. Second hour, when I'm having lunch or something, in the afternoon, that's my second hour. Go on my notifications. That's 2 hours gone already. On my way back from work, when I'm on public transport, it takes me an hour. I'm on LinkedIn. Rather than looking at all kinds of media from around the world, which misinforms you in most situations, in my opinion, I made it a point to invest my time into LinkedIn. So that's my third hour. So 3 hours are already gone when I'm not doing anything different apart from basically just going on with my day. And the last 2 or 3 hours, I used to do between, say, about after my kids go to bed. So maybe around 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night till about, midnight, half past midnight, whatever. Now, there have been times when I've done even more hours because I'm a night owl. I only sleep like four to maximum 5 hours a night. So I go to sleep at about maybe 3 o'clock, and I used to wake up at 6. So I used to sleep sometimes 3 hours. But it's all about managing your time properly.
I need to
You'd be
sleep 9,
amazed.
like I'm definitely not fitting in this 5 hours. If I want to sleep 9 hours, my day is gone.
Fair enough. Well, there you go. See, for example, you're investing. This conversation that we're having right now, right? That's your time that you invested into LinkedIn. That is 1 hour right there. Okay. So these are the little things that people need to understand. It's not about 5 to 6 hours. You're just scrolling through your feed and scrolling through your feed. No, it's not that. It's like having conversations, having a messaging conversation with someone on LinkedIn, for example. That is an investment. So the return on investment that I have had, and that's a great question, Yana. So I have, over the last 2.5 years, after I started, obviously, speaking to people and showing people who I am as a person, etc. I've had numerous speaking gigs offered to me. I've had numerous consulting gigs offered to me, come my way rather, from people from around the world, small companies, SMEs, etc. So I had a full-time job. I'm presently working on my next opportunity at this moment. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit quiet, batten down the hatches in a way. So I'm just waiting on my next opportunity. I'm working on it at the moment. Something really interesting and cool is going to happen soon, which all of you are going to be aware of. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I've always worked full time, and I've had additional opportunities, additional paid opportunities come my way because of who I am as a person, how I present myself on LinkedIn. And this is the only social media platform that I'm active on. Yes, I do have accounts on all of them, but this is the only social media account that I'm active on. So it's all about ensuring so my strategy has always been just LinkedIn. It's because I find this to be a very professional platform where people respect each other. And it's really great, and I've made some seriously amazing friends from around the world. So whenever, like before the pandemic, before the the borders were shut, and Singapore is obviously like a travel destination, like anywhere, it's via Singapore or via this area, right? So anyone who used to come to Singapore, they would call me or they would message me saying that, Joe, coming to Singapore for like, for 6 hours, in transit to Europe or somewhere, to Australia or wherever. And, can you catch up for a coffee? So that's what you want. That is what personal branding is all about. That's when you don't ideally have to be in front of someone's face every day. They will remember you and the impact that you've had on their lives and other people's lives, even when you're not there. Even when, let's say, for example, there is a connecting factor and they suddenly like, so for example, so because I'm in Singapore for the last 8 years, anytime I'm saying like really, I mean, people who are really big on LinkedIn, okay? The moment they're like, oh, I'm going to Singapore, oh, I've got to meet Joseph. So that is what your personal brand is all about. When people remember you, without you even trying to be in front of them. That is what building an effective personal brand is all about. So yeah, so that's basically a bit of my story. So my return on investment has been great, absolutely fantastic. I think my best return on investment, obviously, monetary is fine, it's good, it's great, but I think the best return on investment that I've had are the amazing relationships that I have made with people from around the world, who I know for a fact, whether I'm in the US, whether I'm in Africa, whether I'm in Dubai, whether I'm in Australia, whether I'm in Malaysia, whether I'm in India, I know I can literally just pick up the phone and be like, whoever it is, hey, I'm coming over. Are you available? And I know for a fact they'll be like, if they are there in that country at that time, they'll be like, absolutely. So that is the kind of return on investment, in my opinion, which matters to me the most. Because that is the emotional and that is a human connection. And that is where, and this is something which I'd like to make a very important point on, Yana. People are becoming brands on their own. And branding is moving from just being on the company perspective to more of an individualistic perspective. Now, you might be thinking, I'm speaking in riddles. I'm not. I'll explain what I mean. So I'm going to use a couple of names. So Richard Branson, Bill Gates, right? Jack Ma, Elon Musk. You know these people in some ways better than the brands in a way. For example, Warren Buffett, right? A lot of people don't know his company's name is Berkshire Hathaway, but they've heard of Warren Buffett. So that's where the person behind the brand is bigger than the company itself in a way, or the company is known because of the brand. So that's where personal branding, who you are as a person, what your values are, what are the things that you're attuned to, is something what people buy into, something that people invest into, and that is so important. Appreciate every single one of you who've joined in, actually. Thank you, Ravi, Jay, Dan, Brian, Rollis, Julio. Really appreciate it. I think Julio's asked a question as well, Yana.
Yes, we have a question. Yeah. Yes. What tips can you give to help distinguish between content that is helpful or content that is time consuming and not productive on LinkedIn?
That's a great question, Julio.
I think, my answer will be, it just really depends who's your audience. Because for one audience, the content will be helpful, and for another audience, the content will be time consuming and not helpful. But absolutely. Joseph, what's your variation?
No, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, because I see a lot of people, who I call keyboard warriors in a way, right? Who say that, oh, this content is not for LinkedIn, it's for Facebook. How do you know, right? Like for example, and this is something which I noticed on someone's post who had posted a puppy video, right? And there's this comment, this nasty comment saying that, this isn't Facebook, this is LinkedIn. But they didn't realize that the person that they have actually commented on, that person is a vet, is a veterinarian. Their job is to work with animals. So the content that he's posting is in line with what they do. So just because something isn't in line with what you expect doesn't mean that it is wrong. So Julio, to answer your question, what tips would you give to help distinguish between content that is helpful or content that is time consuming and not productive on LinkedIn? I think that's a question perhaps, I would like you and anyone else who has a similar question, ask yourself, what kind of content do you actually like to see? What kind of content do you resonate with, for example, right? So for example, I mean, if you're watching TV, you may like one show, but you may not like the other. So, but do you call up the TV station and say that I don't want you to air that again? No, you just change the channel. If you feel that someone's content is not according to your likes, tune out, unfollow them. It's the power of control is always in your hands. So that is absolutely important to keep in mind, and appreciate. And I so agree. Until you walk in someone's shoes, you don't really know what they're about, and that is so true. And the best thing is, as they say in this age-old joke, you try to walk in someone else's shoes. If you still don't believe in what they believe in, at least you'll be a mile away and you still have their shoes, right? So, so it's so either way, you're in front. But it's a great question, Julio, and I think that's a very interesting question, because it's what is the how do you allocate or calculate what's valuable and what's not? It's perception. It's your own perception. Yeah. It's what you believe in, and that's where your own self-beliefs are so important moving forward. So if it is something that aligns with you, tune in. If it doesn't, tune out. Simple as that. So that's a simple answer to that question, in my opinion. So yeah.
And at the end of the day, obviously, we need to, when we're starting growing our personal brand, we need to understand that we can't please everyone. And if you're pleasing everyone, our content quite often can be really genetic and actually time consuming and not productive. And we need to be prepared that we will upset some people, and people will unfollow because our content is for them, is not helpful. So basically, I would say it's coming back to the why you're building your personal brand and what you want to be known for. So I think you need to really ask yourself this question and answer this question to understand what you actually want to be known for before you actually start creating any content.
Precisely. And that is where you have to be so clear on who your target audience is, but more so on what your offering is, or more so, what is your differentiator? What is your strategic differentiator, which gives you that additional element of differentiation in a way to your competitor? Why should someone do business with you than with someone else? And that is where the building blocks of personal branding takes place. If you can do that well, if you can be yourself, and you can continue to show people that you have value and you have respect for others around you, people will automatically resonate with you. And that is, it's just a matter of time. That's where consistency is so important, especially when you're building a personal brand on LinkedIn or any other social media. You have to be consistent. You've got to ensure that your online personality is equal to your offline persona. Simple as that. And I talk about the care philosophy, which I use, CARE, which is connect, appreciate, relate, and engage. Connect with the intention of providing value. Appreciate the feedback that you're getting from not just your clients to anyone else who's commenting on your posts or etc. Appreciate it. See what works. See what doesn't. See what people are liking. See what people are disliking. So appreciate the feedback that you're getting. The moment you don't appreciate the feedback is basically you're just dumping content and you're running away. Or you're just, sending out leaflets in the mail. How many times does anyone check their junk mail? They just throw it in the bin directly, right? So you have to appreciate feedback to be able to, whether your methodology is actually, getting through to your target audience. Relate to their real needs and requirements. If you do not know what their real needs and requirements are, you're just going to be pitching the wrong element or the wrong item. You may be talking to them about, or you may be trying to position yourself better from your competitor based on price, when maybe price is not even the issue. Examples, you've got to relate to their real needs and requirements, and that's very, very important, not just in business life, but also in personal life with anyone else, like your friends or whatever. Relate to who they are, and engage. Engage is the most important. Connect, appreciate, relate, engage, care. As long as you care for others around you, they will care for you in return, and that's the main thing.
And I guess this the famous quote will be right in place here. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that was by Dr. Maya Angelou, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
But that is a great quote. That is a great quote, without a shadow of a doubt. So it's all about making sure that you are who you portray yourself to be. And that is where, the congruence between your online personality and your offline persona needs to be one and the same. Because if it isn't, it's not worth it. It's not going to work out in the long run. So yeah.
So we coming out to 46 minutes in our show, and it's time to wrap the things up. I guess, Joseph, I want to ask you last question, more sure. About you, I guess. Sure. What actually you wanted to be known for?
What do I want to be known for? Okay, that is a loaded question. Okay, loaded question.
Give me the shortest answers you can. The shortest one.
Okay, so what I want to be known for is okay. Great question. A lot of people call me an influencer. I don't like that word. I don't like that word influencer at all. The only reason being is influence, in my opinion, if I'm influencing someone, is I am getting them to do something which does not come naturally to them. So it's very close, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, to manipulation. If you're trying to influence someone, I'd rather be known as an impactor, a person who has made an impact in some way to someone, anywhere in the world. So, through what I'm saying, or, some of the sales psychology that I do, some of the, body language stuff, which I talk about, personal branding stuff that I talk about, if that has helped you in any way, I mean, that is what I'd like to be known for. And that is the main thing. I'd like to be known as someone who's actually had a positive impact in someone's life. But apart from that, if someone asks me as to, describe myself or my own character in one word, I would say integrity. So as long as people who I interact with, as long as they, without a shadow of a doubt, can say that, yeah, Joseph is, he's a man of integrity, and that is what I would like to be known for. So yeah, integrity is very, very important to me, and to create an impact in the world. I don't know whether, I'm too small of a person, but again, no one is small enough if they keep consistent with their actions moving forward. So no one is small enough. You can all do your part moving forward. So everyone has the opportunity to create an impact, right? So that's what I want to do moving forward. So yeah.
Thank you, Joseph. I know we can talk for hours, but we need to stop somewhere.
That's right.
And so before I'll ask you to I don't know, give you a final word. I just want to remind to everyone who's watching me now that I'm going live every second Wednesday, and just a quick announcement. In 2 weeks, on the 14th of April, I'm going to speak with Renata about how to choose a career that's right for you. So make sure to tune in, especially if you're thinking of changing career, or especially actually if you graduate. That will be the great show for you, because we will be talking a lot about playing on your strengths. And in 4 weeks, we're going to talk with Carol about how to transition from corporate career to entrepreneurship. So if you are changing career and you're thinking about, maybe go on your own and build your business, make sure to join our show with Carol. Carol done it herself, and she change her career from the corporate to the business owner. So and we have some comments there. Here we go. That's your quote. That's your quote
You're
of
very,
the day now.
kind. You're very kind. I think that is actually Alina, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why your name doesn't show up on LinkedIn, but yeah, thank you, Alina. You're very, very kind. You're one of the most appreciative and supportive people on LinkedIn, and I'm grateful to obviously know you. So keep up the amazing work. Thank you for your support. So thank you.
And Joseph, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yep.
Can we just wrap it up with your favorite quote? Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Okay, my favorite quote has got to be the Michael Jordan quote, where I've missed 9,000 shots in my career, but it's the quote that he says. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, I don't know it off by heart, but it is so important, and it just says that you sometimes you can't let failures basically determine your future. So the quote goes something along those lines. This is by Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So it's so important to embrace that failure, to learn from that failure, and then use that as a stepping stone, as a launching pad for your future. And that is so essential. Embrace that failure, learn from it, and then basically use that as your launching pad moving forward. So that's my favorite.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. I think, it was perfectly summarizing our today's conversation. And guys, so learn from your failure. If you still maybe doubting yourself, maybe don't want to, spend 6 hours on LinkedIn. I still can't get over the 6 hours thing.
Yep.
And just maybe not sure where to start. It's all try and error at the end of the day. So don't be scared to try. Don't be scared to try, and the results might surprise you, and you might be the next LinkedIn impacker. I'm going to use it all the time. Thank you so much, Joseph.
You're very kind, Yana. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. Yana, please take it away. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and it's humbling to have been on your show, to have been invited on your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joseph, and hopefully I'll see you next time in Melbourne.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Take care. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.